This, of course, is the month where millions of people are trying out swearing off alcohol. There's a difference between dry and sober, certainly, and we would acknowledge the struggles that many people who are trying to get sober and trying to stay sober are facing. But as others are kicking off what's called Dry January, we were speaking yesterday with a bartender about different kinds of cocktails that can be made. Today we're talking about non-alcoholic beer. And to do that, I'm joined by Steve Abrams and Carmen Vicente. Steve is the owner of Harmon's Craft Brewing, and Carmen is the head of marketing at Bellwoods Brewery. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Steve, you founded Mill Street back in 2002.
I did.
You sold it in 2015, right? What's that?
Guilty.
Why'd you make you have now started Harmon's Craft Brewing, and you only sell non-alcoholic. Tell me about that switch.
You mind if I crack one while we're...
Please do, yeah.
Oh, listen to that.
Yeah. Standard
20 years ago,
I
I popped a top of a bottle here. I think it was with Matt Galloway.
Yeah.
On the air, and I offered him a beer, and he politely declined. I was very proud of it.
Right.
So here I am again.
Here you are again. Well,
but this time with non-alcoholic.
With non-alcoholic. You've got a receptive mouth in this case. I will gladly join you in trying these out.
This is our lunchbox lagered ale. I know you like lighter flavor beer, so maybe I can... Can we pass that around?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
There we go.
So
okay,
yeah, just
Nicole's in here with us. You're passing me, and this is a what?
Well, it'd be called a Kolsch, a lagered ale. So it's a light, easy drinking beer. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. Yeah.
And we find this is our most popular. We have two very popular ones, but this style of beer is just very easy drinking. Lawnmower beer, just
tastes like
very
Labatt's.
easy.
Tastes like Labatt Blue.
But made right here.
Yeah.
Made right here. Yeah.
Made right here. And what really
Very good.
precipitated was I had stopped drinking for a good long stretch. Having been in the beer business a long time, it can have a lot of wear and tear on you, your liver and other parts, your emotions and whatnot. So took a break, but I still loved my beer after a long time of drinking it. So I set out on a quest to find some non-alcoholic beer, and it was sorely lacking in Canada. And a trip to the U.S. in San Diego in 2019 is what really got me thinking that there was such a variety there that you just didn't have here. And now it's just unreal what's happening in Ontario. There's a huge wave of brand new craft beers that's all non-alcoholic or low, like below 3%.
Yeah, okay. So yours is one of the places doing that, Harmon's Craft Brewing. Carmen, Bellwoods Brewery has non-alcoholic options. Why do you think people are gravitating towards non-alcoholic options now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we all witnessed the sweeping changes that the pandemic brought to our day-to-day lives. And, certainly there was an uptick in alcohol consumption in 2020. And I think what we're seeing now is just people forging a new relationship with alcohol. And what we've observed is that includes a combination of good beer and then good non-alcoholic beer, and probably, good spirits and stuff as well. But I think that we've been sort of surprised that many of our consumers still want both.
And you've brought some options here today. So tell me what you've got.
I've got two of our Jelly Kings. So I've got Jelly King is our dry hop sour, which is a beer that kind of is a matrix of fruity, sour, hoppy, and we make a non-alcoholic version and an alcoholic version. So I'm going to give you both.
Okay, let's try that out.
Yeah.
So
okay, I don't know which one's which. No. So don't tell me.
I won't.
You'll know.
Yeah.
May I make a plug for an event that's coming up?
Yeah.
On January 20th, the first ever Toronto Tio Nolo BEERFEST is going to be held at the Only Cafe. It's all the proceeds are going to Nourish East End, which is a food bank in the East End on Gerrard.
962 Danforth, where this is happening. Yeah.
And this is going to be 15 brewers, including Harmon's and Bellwoods and a bunch of others, local craft beer, all pouring beer from 0.3 to 3%. So it's going to be a Saturday afternoon. There'll be music. It'll be fun. It's going to be a bit of an experiment to see who shows up, but I think it'll be fun. So.
Toronto No-Low Beer Fest, January 20th, 2 to 6 p.m., 962 the Danforth.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give these a try.
I'm holding them up
doing your
to
blind
the
taste
One
test.
is alcohol. They look exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, they smell so good.
A little tone of grapefruit there.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I love
fuzzy
grapefruit.
peaches are a pretty good sensory note to describe it.
Wow.
They taste the same.
They taste exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean,
I have no idea which one's the...
We've done a lot of taste tests. We do a lot of sensory panels with our staff, a lot of QC, and I would say for the most part, people can't really tell the difference between these two. Which
there's a slight difference, but even with that slight difference, I actually still can't tell which one has alcohol and which one doesn't.
And Jelly King was such a popular beer for a long time that I think that when we made the non-alcoholic version, people were just so grateful. I wasn't really sure what the reception to non-alc beers would be. We launched 2 styles last January, and we thought maybe by February things would sort of peter out, and the demand has lasted, sustained throughout the entire year, and people are just really, really grateful to have options that look and taste and feel like alcohol but don't have that ABV.
Yeah. How do you make it?
I don't think we're allowed to talk about that. No, really, honestly,
secret.
There are
Are you Willy Wonka here? Yeah.
Where's my hat?
Keep the formula secret. Yeah.
There are Oompa Loompas involved at times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we all have our own proprietary ways of making it. I will say the big boys, we were talking about Corona and Guinness before, they have some heavy-duty machinery that's required to extract the alcohol. We don't do that at Harmon's. We actually brew it to 0.5%.
Yeah.
My partner Rob is the brewmaster, and he's working on this recipe for basically through the pandemic. He got it just down. But it's a lot easier said than done to get a beer that stays at 0.5 and doesn't go over. And you can't just add water. Because if you dilute it, it tastes terrible. So there's art, there's science. It's really challenging. But there's lots of methods.
I mean, I think we can confidently say that our non-alc beers are most labor intensive. They're the most technically complex beers to brew. And, no shade at all to the macro breweries that are producing the alcohol-free beers, but they're kind of created in a lab by a highly skilled chemist, kind of almost, injecting things into carbonated water that tastes like beer. Whereas, like Steve said, these products are fermented and they retain a lot of those fermentation characteristics that you can't just create in a lab. So I think that's part of what people are so excited about right now is that, these taste like an actual beer because they're fermented.
Because it is beer, yeah.
We talk about demand, and you're actually seeing increased sales and increased numbers. But what the personal stories? What are people saying to you about?
Wow.
Yeah.
So through the trials and tribulations of getting this going, when we've had some moments where, can we keep going? When batches don't work out, we get emails, we get notes from our fans, from our customers. I say fans, they're just supporters, telling us why they want us to keep going. And that's been really moving. It's what motivates me and gets me out of bed in the morning, realizing that, we're helping people. You do get notes, I'm still married. I'm able to hold down a job. My life has improved thanks to Harmon's or the whole scene that's been created here. So
these are people who are not just trying to be dry for a month. They're trying to stay sober. And that is a lifelong effort.
I agree that I'd say about 80% of our customers are both. They drink and they drink not.
Yeah.
But for the ones that are really trying to either quit and they need that to scratch that itch, I say it's been helpful is what I've seen. And that's really nice. So that's kind of the feedback I'm getting.
Totally. I think that, again, I just sort of focus on this idea of gratitude where people are so thankful that there are options that don't feel subpar. I think for the longest time, if you drank non-alc, you were just, you knew that you were going to get options that probably didn't actually taste that good. And now people are like, great, yes, we can absolutely have drinks that make us feel like we are not missing out.
Yeah, it's not just close, it's there.
Yeah. We used to call it penalty box beer. Back in the day when you were drinking beer because you were the designated driver. Why should you be punished for not drinking alcohol?
And I think it's important to think that the target here with non-alcoholic beer is to make it taste like beer, but it's probably impossible to have it taste exactly like beer, and we can recognize that non-alcoholic beer is its own category and it tastes great. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to both of you. Some amazing stories behind it and some great tastes as well.
Cheers.
Steve, Carmen, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. That's Steve Abrams, the owner of Harmon's Craft Brewing, and Carmen Vicente, who is the head of marketing at Bellwoods Brewery.